Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're tracking the exact tactical shift that literally rewrote the rulebook of world football, the evolution of the modern defensive midfielder. Let's just jump right into it.
So, imagine you're managing a team right now. If you could make just one tactical adjustment to completely revolutionize your squad's performance, what would it be? Really think about it. What single position changed the entire game? While our source material answers that question pretty emphatically, it states that the modern defensive midfielder is the position that changed everything. It's the ultimate catalyst in the sport. But, to truly appreciate this massive shift, we first kind of have to establish the baseline of how the game used to be played.
And that brings us to the classic midfield role. Historically, this traditional setup was frankly a bit of a chaotic free-for-all. Players in the center of the park were expected to be absolute generalists. They were joining the attack in the final third and then frantically scrambling back in transition. On a massive pitch against top-tier athletes, this box-to-box approach meant absolutely nobody was truly anchoring the ship.
You can probably guess what happens next, right? Because everyone was operating as a generalist, we saw some serious defensive vulnerabilities. Teams suffered from slow transitions, a total lack of structural order, and just chaotic positioning all over the place. A massive hole existed right in front of the center backs. Without a dedicated player to drop deep and collect the ball, building out from the back was painfully slow and unpredictable. It basically left teams wide open to a well-timed counterattack.
So this traditional setup was a tactical free-for-all that absolutely demanded a massive evolution. The chaos simply couldn't last forever. As player fitness and pressing intensity skyrocketed across the sport, managers realized they were just bleeding goals right through the center of the pitch. They desperately needed a tactical plug to stop the bleeding. Tracing this out, the tactical evolution was clear. We moved from that past era of classic midfield chaos into a transitional era where coaches were frantically seeking faster transitions by dropping a player slightly deeper. And that ultimately culminated in the modern era, with the birth of the defensive anchor. And let me be clear, this wasn't just a slight tweak, no way. It was the invention of an entirely new profile on the pitch.
When you compare the classic generalist midfielder directly against the modern defensive midfielder, it's a dramatic before and after. The classic generalist was reactive. They were constantly chasing the play, often getting caught completely out of position. The modern defensive midfielder, though, they're proactive. They sit right in that critical pocket of space between the midfield and the defensive line, reading the game, sweeping up loose balls, and acting as an absolutely immovable shield. Breaking down the key attributes, you can see exactly how the modern role introduced a highly specialized skill set. It wasn't just about transforming an unstructured free-for-all into a disciplined anchor. It required elite positional awareness, tackling, and crucially, a rapid, dynamic passing range. Actually, by sitting deep, these players have the entire pitch right in front of them. They act as deep-lying playmakers who can literally break lines with a single progressive pass.
By executing a few specific steps, this role became the absolute heartbeat of the team. Step 1. Anchor the defense to eliminate vulnerabilities, expertly cutting off passing lanes. Step 2. Stop those slow transitions by providing an immediate outlet for center backs to bypass a high press. And Step 3. Once they get the ball, launch dynamic attacks using that elite passing range. They brought total order to the chaos. The magnitude of this shift literally cannot be overstated. The modern defensive midfielder eliminated tactical chaos and fundamentally changed how the sport is played. By giving one player the sole mandate to just shield and distribute, it unlocked the entire pitch. This single positional shift created a profound domino effect. It allowed fullbacks to push higher, gave attacking midfielders complete creative freedom in the half spaces, and provided the center backs with total structural security. It turned a massive liability into a team's most important strategic advantage. So, having seen how a single role completely transformed the sport, it leaves us with one final fascinating thought. As tactics continue to evolve, what will be the next position to change everything? The innovations of today are going to become the outdated baseline of tomorrow, for sure. So, what is the next vulnerability being exposed right now? What highly specialized position will emerge to change the game next? Something to think about.